Hi everyone once more, and thank you for joining our webinar today. And we will chat for the next 20 minutes about 2 easy workflows on how to save your time creating multiple fields in Salesforce. And I will show you exactly 2 ways of how to do this. So my name is Vladimir, I'm head of product at the Welkin Suite, and at the same time I'm leading a team of Salesforce developers and administrators in our parent company SafSim. But before we will proceed on the webinar itself, let's spend another 40 seconds for me to get to know a bit more about you. So I will launch a very quick poll, and if you don't mind, I will be happy if you will answer it. Almost there, couple more votes. Okay, thank you very much, and let's start then. So for those of you guys who are Welkin Suite users, the next 1.5 minutes won't be very interesting, but for everyone else, I will highlight the very high-level details of what is Welkin Suite, why it's nice for also administrators, and then I will move towards the demonstration. The very important thing is that at the end we will have Q&A session, and if you guys have any questions as we go, just feel free to post them in the questions pane in GoToWebinar. I will do my best to try to read these questions as they go, but if no, I will answer them at the end of the webinar. So let's start. Very quick overview. So what is Welkin Suite? Welkin Suite, it's an IDE, integrated development environment for both developers and administrators, especially in the Salesforce world when most of us, or at least some very valuable percent of us, are admin developers, people who are doing both development with custom code, but still we have to deal with data model, with automations, with all of the declarative development settings in Salesforce. This is why we believe that having the single tool for the whole team will be very beneficial, and it will allow not only developers enjoy some enhanced and advanced tools, but administrators also escape the setup menu and try to look for some a bit more advanced tools that will help them with their day-to-day tasks. Why admins? Why it's useful for administrators? Because, due to some strange reasons, all of us, IDE developers, Salesforce developers, the entire community, we've all focused on development and writing the code. But at the same time, in Salesforce world, configuration, customization, it's a huge part of any project, a huge part of any organization, and it just gets very low attention from everyone, and this means that there is a lot of room for improvements, starting from daily routine tasks and maybe not so obvious and not so clear actions that you need to do in the setup menu, and up to the bulkification, or I'd say lack of bulkification in Salesforce. So the IDE, the Welkin Suite, tries to do its best to provide you much more bulkified options and to provide you some kind of dashboard for your I'd say one dashboard, but control panel for your declarative development stuff inside of the IDE. So let's move on and let's take a look at what I will try to show you today. So let's imagine a very simple, but I believe pretty common situation when you have to create a bunch of fields for multiple different objects. In my case, as we are working as a consulting partner, it's a very common case for me when we start setting up an organization. It's almost, 80-90% of organizations start with leads. We work on the whole sales process, and it's also always a lead conversion process. So we start adding new fields to leads, then adding the same fields to contacts, accounts, opportunities, then performing mappings, and doing all of the other stuff later. So in my case today, in order to fit into 20 minutes with all of my blah blah blah, I will create 5 different fields for 4 different objects, and in total it's 12 new fields in Salesforce. So usually it takes, I'd say, 5 to 7 clicks or pages in Salesforce to create a field, and in our case it will be much faster, but as I will be talking all of the time, it will take much less time comparing to any developer or the Welkin Suite user who will be able just to do it in, I'd say, 3 to 4 minutes, something like this. So right now on the screen you see the list of fields that I will try to create in the Welkin Suite, and I will show you how you can do this very efficiently and very fast. So let me hide this and move it to another display so I will see it. Oh, nice. I'm not sharing anything. Okie dokie. So let me just get back for a second. I believe that introduction was not very interesting for you guys. Sorry for the issue. But yeah, here's my face. It's me. And what I will do, I will create 5 fields for 4 different objects. So some very generic ones. I've tried to come up with something interesting, but this won't be like very interesting fields. So Skype ID is a Salesforce partner, account manager, spoken languages, and social profile link. So here are the fields, and I will switch now to the Welkin Suite, and we will try creating all of these fields in the most efficient way I can. So just give me a second. I need to rearrange my second display. Yep, okie dokie. So I start from the Welkin Suite. I have already opened my project, my organization in the IDE itself, and I'm right now in the administrator mode, so I don't see all of the shiny panels for developers. I work only with the administrator panel. So in the admin panel, I see the full list of my objects, and I will find my lead object, right-click on it, and select Open in Editor. So we have 5 different fields that we need to create in 4 objects, and all of them are present in the lead object. So once I have opened this lead object in the ID, I can see a list of fields that I can modify in the ID. So not some of the standard fields that I don't have access to. For these fields, I see some basic details like API name, field label, type, and if they are required. It's very important field, and let me show you another example just so you understand why it's important. So in the required column, we are not only showing you fields that are required on the S-object level, but we are also showing you if a field is required on any of your layouts. So in my case, I have 6 fields required on layouts, and if I hover over this icon, I will see on what exactly layouts these fields are required. So these 3 fields, I believe, are required on all layouts, only on 2 layouts, 2. Okay, so this is the general information that we have in the fields view. If I would like to work with XML, if I, due to some reasons want to do this, I can always switch to the editor in the lower part of the screen, and I can deal on my own with this 400 of lines of XML. But in my case, I won't say lazy, but I don't want to deal with XML. I want some friendly UI. So once I select any field in the fields editor, on the right side of the screen I will see its properties, and I will be able to modify it. So I can change its label, API name, try to change its type, select its external ID, and all of the other fields that are properties that are specific for each type of a field. So I can specify all of this information right here and then deploy it to Salesforce at once. So instead of modifying existing fields, let me just create new ones. So the first field will be Skype ID. I click on this button to create a new field. It will be text. Here we are. So let it be Skype ID. It's not external ID. Length should be 50. No description, no help text, not required, not unique, and it's case insensitive. Yep, that's right. Let's create another field. It is Salesforce partner. So it will be a checkbox. I create a new checkbox and just type in label for my new field. I just need to remove here question mark. By default it's unchecked, and I'm good with this field as well. Okay, now I will need to create field account manager, and I believe that it was supposed to be a lookup to another object. So let it be a lookup relationship. I create it, I specify regular details, so account manager, API name related to a contact, and child relation for contact, it will be leads. It's not required, and what to do if the lookup record is deleted? Clears the value of this field. Deal, done. Next field is spoken languages, so I will create a pick list, multi-select pick list. Again, type in all of these details. I don't have any value set, so I will just come up with some languages that I know. So Russian, English, German, Ukrainian, of course. I don't know, French, and let it be. So sort values, don't use the first, restrict, yes, save. And so I have only 5 languages, so let me display all of these 5 languages as well. And the last field in my list, it's URL field for social profile link. So I just create a social profile link and not required. Okay, so I've created 5 fields for my lead object, and let me just try to deploy it to Salesforce so we ensure that everything is okay, is that I haven't made any mistakes. So I hit Save and Deploy button, and the Welkin Suite start deploying these changes to Salesforce. So as you see, we are deploying 5 fields at once instead of doing this one by one and waiting for Salesforce's feedback on each of them. We are just doing this once, but yeah, it might take about 20-30 seconds, I'd say, to deploy changes. Okay, so you've deployed it. Now we are retrieving once more from Salesforce. And here we are. Here is my object with all of the updates. So what I need to do next? I need to replicate the same fields on different objects. So for example, Skype ID, spoken languages, and social profile link should be available on a contact. The easiest way for me to do this will be to hit on the Clone Fields button and select the fields that I would like to clone. So as I said, it will be Skype ID, social profile link, and spoken languages. I will copy each of these fields one time, but in the Welkin Suite I have an ability to copy these fields multiple times. For example, if you have, if you have address line field and you want to have 10 address lines, you just click here 10 times and we'll create, duplicate it 10 times. But in my case, only one is efficient. So on the right side of the screen, I select what other objects should I copy these fields. In my case, it is only contact. I will hit clone. The Welkin Suite will open the contact object for me, so I can see all of these fields added right here. I can modify them if needed, and I will modify them. No, I won't. So here are all of my fields. Deal, let's just deploy it. So as you might see, adding 3 new fields, copying 3 fields to another object just takes 5 clicks, and it takes about 20 seconds to wait. And it's even better for copying other fields to opportunities and accounts. So done, we have everything copied to a contact object. Now I will get back to my lead object and I will copy remaining fields to account and opportunity. So I have an account manager, I have a Salesforce partner, and that's it. So I will copy them to account and to the opportunity. Done. Again, the Welkin Suite opens me editors for these objects. So here I will just need to modify account manager. So I will change it to opportunity. And here for the account, it will be accounts. Accounts. Once done, I will just hit save and deploy. I've done this for an account object, so I will need to do the same for the opportunity as well. Instead of doing this one by one, one of the options to deploy this in mass is just to perform all of the changes and then hit the F5 button, and it will then deploy all of these 4 objects to Salesforce at once. So instead of waiting for 20 seconds every time, you can deploy all of them at once, and it will take just 30 seconds in general. So here's the way how you can easily create lots of fields in Salesforce. So it was very fast. I've done this in, I'd say, 8 minutes. In usual situations, I believe in Salesforce, you also do this in about 10 minutes, maybe less. But if we remove my token, if we remove all of this blah blah blah, it will take about, I'd say, 2-3 minutes to create all of these fields for these objects. And once you start to add more and more fields to objects, it will take almost the same time in the Welkin Suite, but it will take proportionally much more time in Salesforce itself. So in some cases, when you are setting up new organizations, if you are working hard on the new data model, or if you are adding new objects with lots of new fields to your existing Salesforce organization, such tool as mass creation of fields and especially cloning fields in the Welkin Suite might and they will save you a lot of time, like very easily. So that was it in general about creating fields, like mass creating fields in the Welkin Suite. And I have a very quick poll for you guys. So I will just launch it if you don't mind. So if you want, we can spend another 5 minutes and add these fields to layouts, and I will show you how to do this in a, again, bulkified way in the Welkin Suite. Or if you don't want, we can just skip to questions and like finish this webinar as promised in about 20 minutes. Okie dokie, so I believe that we'll proceed with layouts, and then let me get back to a lead object and I will show you how to work with layouts in the Welkin Suite. Just in short, a very short introduction, that we've built this bulkified approach for working with objects, taking in head or keeping in head one workflow. So you create fields, then you configure field level security for them, and then you add them to layouts. I won't stop on adding on working with field level security for your fields right now, because this will be covered next week on the next webinar. It's a pretty huge and huge tool and a huge time saving tool. So I won't stop on it in details, but here it looks like this way. But right now I will just cover the last step of our this funnel working with layouts. Answering a question from Matt, great question. It's it's a shame for us to not doing this, but a question from Matt: can you also map those fields in Welkin Suite as well? No, it's a shame for us. Right now we do not provide you such option, and yeah, I know that this needs to be done in the Welkin Suite as well. Another question from Msuero, I hope. So how about record types? Is there a way to assign these fields to record types and manage field level permissions for the profiles? So for field level permissions, yep, in more details I'll cover it next week. For record types, again, kind of shame for us, but it's not yet available, but I know that it needs to be done. Hope by the end of the summer we'll get it done. So let's get back to layouts. So once I've switched to the layouts tab right here in the editor, on the left side I see all of my fields, and on top I see all of my layouts available in the organization. So you can see that some of the fields are somehow highlighted in red. We call these fields unassigned. So these fields are not shown on any layouts. So I have even a special button here to focus only on these fields and show only them. In this way, it's much easier for me to find out and see these 5 new fields that I have just added. So for each of these fields, I have a quick action option, so I can make it, let's say, editable on all layouts. I can modify the settings one by one. So for example, on a support layout, it should be read-only. On a marketing layout, it should be read-only. On a master layout, it should be required. Let it be this way. And the same for sales layout, or I can even hide it from a support layout in this way. So I can modify settings one by one for each object layout pair. I have the same quick actions available for layouts itself. So if I want to just make all fields on this layout read-only, I can do it very quickly, or I can move all of them to a certain section. In my case, I can move them to different sections. So let it remain in the lead information section for each of the layouts. So in order to save some bits of my time, instead of doing the same actions for all of the fields that I've created, I will just right click on this is Salesforce partner field and select the bulk apply to option. Then with checkboxes, I will find all my fields. So it was Skype. What else? It was account manager. It was spoken languages and social. Nope, typo. Social profiling. Done. So here we are. I've selected 5 fields. I hit apply, and the Welkin Suite applied the same settings to all of these fields. Now I'm done and happy with the settings, like how my fields are shown in layouts. I hit save and deploy, and the Welkin Suite will deploy all 4 layouts at once. You might ask me if, what about rearranging fields inside of sections? Good question. I hope someone asked it. So we do not provide you an option to rearrange fields inside of a section, because we are more focused on the bulk operations. But in a case if you need to rearrange file or fields inside of a section, it's very easy to do. You just right click on layout, you hit the edit layout in the org button. It will open you your default browser, it will log you in, and it will open you a good old school page where you can modify layout. So you can rearrange fields inside of sections after you've somehow rearranged them between different sections. Once you're done, just hit save, and the settings will be saved in Salesforce. So while we are not doing this directly in the IDE, we are at least providing you the quickest way to get to this settings page in Salesforce. So here's how it works for layouts, and I hope it was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, just feel free to, let me open my presentation back. So if you have any questions, if you would like to have a demonstration for your team, for your company, meetup, for yourself once more, for any other topic, just feel free to let us know at demo@welkinsuite.com, or you can very easily contact me or anyone from the team on the welkinsuite.com website. So we are reading forums, we are all, everyone reading everything that's happening there. So just if you have any questions, just let us know and we'll be happy to answer them. And right now I'll take a look at what questions do we have here, and we'll try to answer them. Okay, so just give me a second. A question from Chavi: is Welkin Suite available for free, or do we have to purchase it? So the Welkin Suite, it's like a pay tool, so it's available, it's a subscription-based tool, but you have a 30-day free trial, and I believe that by the end of this webinar you will receive additional promo code. So just visit the welkinsuite.com website, take a look at what we have here, what other great features that we propose you, start your free trial, and I'm pretty sure you'll love the IDE and you'll very easily justify the cost of the IDE. Okay guys, so thank you very much for joining this webinar. If you have any more questions, just contact us and we'll be happy to answer them. Try the Welkin Suite yourself, play with these tools, play with whatever I'm showing you, and I'm pretty sure you'll like it. So the next week I will again try to focus on the field level security settings, and I will show you all the different ways how you can use it with some of the strange but workarounds and tweaks that we are using internally in our teams. I'm pretty sure that you like it. So next week at the same time, again 20 minutes, I will show you one of the coolest features of the Welkin Suite. Thank you very much and see you next week. Bye bye.